It feels like it's been a while since we've done a chatty get ready with me video. And the theme of this video is we are using nothing new. I spent no money on this well, no. I spent money on this makeup. Previous me, past me did. But I basically just shopped my stash and found some things in my makeup collection I haven't used in a while. And most of these are products I don't really even know how I feel about them. So I'm kind of using this as a decision-making process where some of these may get decluttered today as we use them. So one I actually already applied, but I'm gonna apply again because I feel like I could use more, is the Kosas Plump and Juicy Spray On Serum. So it's got collagen, peptides, probiotics, Artemisia flower extract. It's supposed to be soothing. The mister is fine. Like literally it's like fine particles, but it's really, at least mine, it covers a huge expanse. So it gets my chest wet and like, it's just interesting. But I feel like I can't get the sides of my face the way I want. There we go. Ooh, and it's in my ear. And my earrings. Anyway, it feels good. I remember going through a few years where I was regularly starting my makeup routine with some kind of spray on. I want to say toner, but I don't feel like toner is really the word, but kind of. There was one from pharmacy years ago that I think they discontinued a while back. And I used that so much and I loved it so much. And I don't think it exists anymore. Do any of you guys remember what product it was? Do you remember? But this feels, I mean, it's a nice feeling. It definitely has a really strong scent. I will say that. So I think this is something I will keep and utilize because if anything, it's one little extra bit of skincare for me that doesn't take much time and it dries pretty quickly and it feels really refreshing. That's what I remembered loving about the spray on toners or whatever. It just felt like you were waking your skin up and getting it ready. And I really don't do this kind of step very often, if ever. So the SPF I want to use today is from Kapari. It's their antioxidant face shield mineral SPF 30. I'm realizing these first two things I started with are more expensive. I actually have a lot of drugstore stuff we're going to be using in today's video. So this I think I've used. Okay, so it's mineral. It's reef safe, 14% non-nano zinc oxide. It comes out white, you know. Doesn't have like a wildly offensive scent or anything like that. The pump, it's easy to control the pump so you can get out what you want. Probably need to put another layer of this on. It definitely is lightweight and thin. And I feel like the white cast didn't stay too long. I feel like this is pretty typical for this kind of sunscreen where it takes a minute and then you don't see the white cast. So I don't know, it's pretty pricey, but I like that it is so lightweight. I feel like this would be a good one for underneath makeup. We're gonna put that to the test. So currently in our lives, we are in back to school mode, right? I actually really need to do some back to school shopping. Well, really for both of the girls, but they're both outgrown. They've outgrown their pajamas. They've outgrown nearly everything, I feel like. And I always get to this point where I try to push it and wait to buy clothes. And now we're at the breaking point where I'm like, okay, they both are like, their shorts are way too tight. Plus we're getting into, well, eventually getting into the season where they need pants. And their pants from last season definitely do not fit them anymore. So I need to go. Where are your guys' favorite places to buy like kids clothes? Genevieve's now in the stage between like size 5 and then size 6, like in the girls section. And boy, the price goes up. That is for sure, which totally stinks. But the styles are totally different too. So I don't know. Okay, so we are using this Estee Lauder Futurist Skin Tint Serum. I continue to try this and I continue to not know how I feel about it. So today we're deciding how I feel about it. How about that? It can look really pretty. Of course, we just put it over a super moisturized base, but I feel like it can look really glowy if you want it to. Very lightweight. This also has SPF in it. I'm gonna use a sponge for this side just so you can kind of see how it does. Shears it out a little bit, of course. But yeah, so I feel like the main places I shop for the girls is like Old Navy, Kohl's sometimes, but usually Kohl's online because I feel like their selection in store of kids stuff is usually picked over. So, you know, Target, of course, same thing though. Certain sizes are always sold out in store. So I end up finding it in store, scanning it and adding the right size to my cart. And I would say about 70% of the kids' clothes I bought at Target, I had to end up buying online. I think I like this best with the brush. I think it just keeps some more of the coverage. I don't know, serum skin tint, or whatever you call this. Yeah, Futurist Skin Tint Serum. I feel like these are so tricky because if you've got any dryness on your face, it will show it. And I have definitely random dry patches throughout every week of my life. I feel like a tiny one will pop, you know what I mean? And I just don't think this is friendly with that, which is probably why I never know really how I feel, because it can look really pretty, but then it can look really, really ugly. And at the end of the day, like, I have my beloved, around the same price point, the Arborian BB cream is still my favorite. And when I am having one of those dry spells, that is the only stuff that you almost can't even tell. It doesn't mathematically make sense, but it is amazing anyway. So this is one, I don't know. I just don't think I love it. I don't think it's like the worst thing I've ever tried, but I just don't think I love it. And if I'm remembering right, I will put wear notes below on how this all wears, but if I'm remembering right, this is the stuff that really wears off unevenly because it is so thin. Anyway, for the concealer, I want to try the Neutrogena Radiant Cream Concealer. This, I'm pretty sure I really like, but every time I see it, I'm like, wait, right? Do I like that? So we're gonna, yet again, I remember it being really lightweight, and it's a good texture, like, I'll just do it, where if you wanna put a little concealage on your face, I feel like it's a good texture for that. It looks nice and natural, not too thick. And that's the other thing, that foundation, I feel like the coverage is not always as much as I want in certain areas. Yeah, that looks really nice as a face, not highlight, as a face concealer. Actually, I should probably put some on this breakout here. Pimple patches have been my best friend. This has been like the longest living breakout I've not ever had, but maybe. So we're in back to school mode, which is just exciting. I'm going through some emotions with Genevieve going off to kindergarten for the first time. Like, you know, I have some friends that are going through the exact same time as me, and so it kind of helps to talk about it or hear them talk about it too, because it really validates how I'm feeling. I feel like that's just a good life truth. Like, anything you're going through in your life, someone else has felt before or is currently feeling, and you can search for those things. As silly as it might sound, you can search for that stuff online. And, you know, what would I even type in to search for, you know, kindergartner going, or kid going to kindergarten, parent emotions, and find TikToks and reels or whatever, blog posts, articles written about this. And it makes me feel a lot less alone in how I'm feeling, where, you know, I don't know. There's just so many emotions. I've realized in recent times that it's more excitement than anything, because I've definitely seen this summer where she is ready. She's ready, and she is ready to have friends her age. And when I think about my time in kindergarten, I loved it. I mean, I became a teacher for a reason. I loved school, and Genevieve is a lot like me, so I have a feeling she will thrive, but it's not going to be without a few tears from mama. But I actually need to place the order today for like one of those back to school signs that I can reuse year after year after year. They're not very expensive on Amazon, and they have ones that don't share as much information. You know how like people say not to share certain things, which is definitely, yes, totally agree. But my point is, I feel like, what am I even talking about? No, I don't want to powder yet. Guys, I can't multitask. This is a bad idea. Focus, Jess. So I've got one of those in my cart, and actually you can flip it over, and on the other side, it says the last day of, you know, kindergarten, first grade, you fill it in. Yeah, so I'll link below the one I'm pretty sure I'm gonna buy if you're curious about it. But I mean, genuinely, you look on Amazon, there's a million kinds. So I have two brow products. I just need to pick which one I wanna try, the Maybelline Express Brow and the Almay Brow Styler. I feel like one of these was like way dark and the other was like way light. So we're gonna figure that out and get rid of whatever we need to get rid of. Let's try the Maybelline Express Brow. I told you guys I recently stopped using brow serums regularly, and sure enough, my brows went back to what you see. And so it blew my mind, because that really told me like, wow, okay, brow serums work. So I was using the NYK1 one from Amazon, and before that I'd regularly use the Grande Brow. The Grande Brow definitely works, but I just wanted to see what else was out there. But if you were like, neat, I mean, it works. There's no doubt about it. But I've recently tried a few other things. There's a new one from, maybe it's not even new, one from Vegamore. Olaplex has one. Like, there's a lot of brands that are now coming out with them. So lots of options. I kind of just want to play around with trying other ones because I don't know, it's kind of part of my job. I guess like that specific thing is not, but you know what I mean. I like testing things out. Okay, I actually kind of liked this. I feel like color-wise it works. Might not be my perfect shade match. This one's in soft brown, but it was really easy to use. It wasn't so overly pigmented. I didn't need to wipe this off at all before applying it, which is nice because a lot of the ones I have, I do. And it is staying on there. I just put a little and I tried to wipe it off and it's not budging. So I have a feeling once it dries, it stays really well. What did I drop? Ooh, the lid. Beep, bop, beep. So I was popping on to just some of my random DMs I've gotten recently just to chat about some of the questions you guys asked. So one of them asked for home organization tips. One thing Tyler and I have been talking a lot about, I'm gonna use the NYX Ultimate Warm Neutrals. We've been talking a lot about how we really, if we have a home for something, I mean like a physical object, it's not overwhelming to straighten up. And so for an example, let me think here. Every time we would get like random bills that maybe we pay online, but we like to keep the most recent one of, or it's a coupon for something that we might use, but we might not, but we don't want to necessarily throw it away. We now have, well, we've had for a few years now, this like drawer in our kitchen, literally dedicated to our little paper bin. And we just put things in there like that. And, or if it's like an informational pamphlet from school and you don't necessarily need to hang it up somewhere, but you want to still have it, perfect. Because then every time you're looking for one of those random things, you know where to look first. And then when you're getting those items, those are usually the things that will like sit on your kitchen counter forever, and then it will pile up, and then you're like, what do we do with all this? And so then like once a season, if even that, maybe twice a year, I'll pull it out, go through the papers. A bunch of them are either expired or no longer useful. I recycle them and we move on. It's such a simple system, but it has worked so well for us that I feel like I bring it up a weird amount because it is so life-changing. But just in general, having a place for everything. And if there's something or an area that keeps getting messed up and you cannot keep it tidy, look at what is in that pile of stuff. Do those items have an actual place you keep them? If not, that's probably why. And so I feel like by taking the time to say, okay, this is where we always put the diaper bag, or this is where we always put these papers, whatever, it makes it so that you can clean up or you can tidy without having to even think about it. And I think that makes a big difference. I really do. I'm just now remembering we have a little school event today and I probably should make sure I look. I don't want to be like, I don't know, overly, I don't know. I was gonna say overly made up. I'm always wearing makeup. I guess what's the difference? I should say I don't want them used to me wearing makeup because most of the time I will not be wearing makeup when I drop off. Sometimes when I pick up, it just depends. Don't get used to me like this because this is not how you'll see me again. Yeah, I do like this palette. I just don't use most of the colors. Like honestly, I use the top, if that. I mean, honestly, I'm trying to even look. Yeah, there's certain ones I just don't use, but it is good quality. If you are into these colors, I think you'd like it. Guys, did you see that Urban Decay is bringing the Naked palette back? Undoubtedly it was planned. They were like, we know, we'll discontinue it, bring it back a few years later. People will be like, oh my gosh, but you better believe I'll be first in line. I'm totally buying that. I got so many messages from you guys when you saw me like share that on my Instagram. So many of you guys said that you still have your old Naked palette and you're holding on to it. And I'm like, ooh, so now I want someone to like compare old to new. Is it exactly the same? Is it slightly different? Who knows? Liner wise, I want to use this teeny tiny Maybelline automatic pencil liner. It's like one of those 1.5 millimeter ones, kind of similar. Hourglass made one for years and it was like one of the only ones that were made. Now I'm sure there's more, but I'm just gonna kind of tight line with it. Oops, and I say that and I just, oh well. It really does remind me a lot of the Hourglass one. It's one of those blacks though that kind of turns a little purpley, not purpley, bluish when it mixes with like a shimmery shadow like this. It's nothing wildly obvious, but just worth reporting. But if you like a really thin eyeliner pencil, like teeny tiny, I think you would really like this. I wonder if I could do like a little wing with it. I wanted to use a liquid liner, but I'm just kind of curious. Oh yeah. Yeah, it is definitely small enough to do like a little wing with. That's cool. Usually I use like a brush to achieve that effect. So it's cool that you could just do it with the pencil. Nice. So yeah, I think it's pretty good. Pretty good, other than, like I said, I don't know if you can see how it kind of looks like grayishy blue. So that's my biggest home organization tip. Like, you know, at the end of the day, you can buy as many bins and baskets, etc. as you want, but my thing is have a place for everything and really think about how do you naturally store things? What feels comfortable to you? Because you may see a picture, I've learned this the hard way numerous times, you may see a picture online that looks really Pinteresty, beautiful, Instagram worthy, baskets all matching, but it may not fit how you actually utilize that closet or that space or those things. And so really thinking about what does make sense to you. Another example is, during that hard time we all went through in 2020, 2021, with my pantry, I redid it. And what I mean by that is I bought all the organization bins and I was pouring everything into those, and no shade, no hate if you do that. I still do that for certain things. But I realized there are just certain things that make more sense in those containers and some that don't. One thing we used to do was keep our chips in them, like pita chips, tortilla chips. And the thing is, we would go through those decently fast. So I felt like I was constantly okay, so I guess I dump out these crumbs. Do I clean it now or do I just put it and just clean it sometimes? And then I'm like, why am I even doing this? I could just put a chip clip. One of you guys did remind me though, we did have, and I just forgot, we did have a mouse problem at one point in our kitchen and it was bad. It so far has been eradicated and it's been years, knock on wood. But I forgot that's why that's part of why. We were putting things into containers so that the mice could not get into them because they were literally biting and chewing through bags of things. So knock on wood, that doesn't happen again because I may be eating my words. But if you're doing it just for aesthetics, really think through how do I or my family, whatever, use these food items? Is it really worth it or not? Some things are. I think putting some baking stuff in containers can be really, really nice. I don't know. It's easier to scoop out of containers sometimes than the little bag of flour. I also got a DM asking about advice for single people. And I wish I had great advice. One thing I try to remind myself, because everyone has something they're working towards is not necessarily the right word, but there's always something lacking in someone's life. I feel like that's probably true as a general rule, whether you realize it or not. I think when we compare ourselves to other people when it comes to where we are in life, whether it is how much money we make, what job we have or don't have, whether we are married or not, whether we married young or older, whether we're divorced, whether we have kids or don't, whether with those kids, did we adopt them or have a surrogate, or did we have them ourselves, or did we struggle? And I know this is duh, but you just can't compare yourself because no one's life is exactly like yours. So the only thing that happens when you sit there and you think, well, so-and-so has this and why don't we have this and blah, 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 thinking about relationships, because it doesn't work like that. If people could will things into existence like that, people would, and we'd all take advantage of it. But I just feel and I don't know if this is helpful or not, but things oftentimes happen the way they're supposed to happen. And this is just my own personal belief, but I feel being in I'm struggling through this. If being in a relationship is important to you, don't give up, because I feel for every one of you that's out there thinking I just really want to find the one, there are other people, whatever you're into, thinking the same thing. And so they're out there and your person's out there. And I just feel I don't know, I've heard so many beautiful love stories of people that met so much later in life. And I just think those are some of the most beautiful romantic stories, because for every one of you that is feeling okay, I feel I'm getting older and I still haven't found the one, there are so many people that married young and now I know many of you guys married young and are very happy that I'm not talking to you, but there are many people, and we can all agree, that are divorced now that married young. And what was this quote? It was in Superstore. We were just watching it earlier today. And in it, Amy says something it's America Ferrera's character. She's talking about one of them is 17 and pregnant and she's gonna marry the guy, but they're really sweet characters. She was trying to give advice to her, and basically she was telling someone else I got married at 19 because I was pregnant, the same scenario. And she was and it's really hard. And she was obviously there are some wonderful things about it. You feel you're 5 steps ahead of where you should be, but at the same time, you feel you're 5 steps behind where you should be. And so I feel it's one of those things that the grass is always greener. I don't know. I don't think that was helpful at all, but I'm just sharing kind of what's been on my mind. But I feel those kinds of questions are going to be better answered by someone obviously I've been married now for oh my gosh, 9 years. So I don't know that I'm the ideal person to ask that. I think there are better people out there that can answer that question with way more knowledge and empathy. I don't think I'm the ideal person. So I was also asked, how do you prep for a new month, monthly reset, etc.? I don't feel like I have a system. Do you guys? I feel like it changes all the time, and I've learned to stop fighting that. Like, because I do, and I think a lot of you guys can relate, I do like things to be organized, and scheduled's not the right word, but I don't know, planned out. It used to really stress me out because my job is a little bit more free and I can choose how I spend my time. It can be really overwhelming, but it can be really hard to keep the same schedule, especially with the kids. Like, Genevieve will be in school every day, but Felicity won't be. So dealing with that and our schedule changing every single week and never really being the same twice, for me, it's been hard to do all of that, but to like make sure it's the same twice, and it's not. In an ideal world, eventually I'll be like, okay, on this day, I always film on this day and this day, and then on these days, I always do Instagram stuff. I don't know. It's just not how it works. It ends up being a hodgepodge every single day. But I've learned to just accept that as okay. I think because I used to teach, it really kind of drilled in me, you know, you have to have your lesson plans for every minute of the day and standards connected to that and like all of those kinds of things, that it's hard to shake that way of thinking about your job even. For me, it has been. Oh, did I even tell you that? Liquid liner. Okay, I actually really liked that. This was the L'Oreal Infallible Precision Felt Liquid Liner, the black one. It was really good. And then I'm just throwing on, because I didn't want to open a mascara, so I'm just using the Essence Lash Princess in Brown. You guys know I'm loving this. But things that I feel like I have to do weekly, maybe not monthly, but weekly, and I'll film me doing this actually very soon for one of the coming weeks, but meal planning and grocery shopping is something I have to do every week. It really alleviates the stress of what are we having for dinner tonight? We have like 4 dinners planned. We assume there will be a leftover night. We assume there will be one night where things are interrupted and we do a freezer meal, or we go out to dinner, or order in. We haven't been doing that as much, which is good because we're definitely saving money that way. But point is, that is something that I'm always doing. And in an ideal world, yet again, I would have a certain day. I always do it on Sundays, or I always do it on, it has never been the same twice either, but I'm hopeful this year that maybe I can get a little bit more regular with when that happens, when I grocery shop. That is one thing for resetting. I still haven't figured out the whole laundry thing. I'm not gonna talk about it. Some of you guys are so tired. Just trying to find like a perfect laundry system that works. It hasn't happened. It's worked okay to do a load of laundry every day, kind of. It's just that no matter what, the next day I have 2 loads of laundry to put away because I didn't get them put away the day before. So I don't think it's perfect for me, but it's better than trying to do 5 loads all in the same day on the weekend, which is what I was doing. So I don't know. So I'm currently reading a book right now called, oh boy, 101, I knew I wouldn't remember what it's called. Hold on. I'm actually doing the audiobook from Libby. 101 Essays That Will Change the Way You Think. I'm only halfway through. There have been some chapters of this, or I guess I should say essays, that I'm like, oh, I want to listen to that again. You know what I mean? But then there have been some that have been so repetitive. So I'll talk more about that in a future video where I talk about what I've read recently. But it's definitely made me think about a lot of things. She talks a lot about how we often as humans can feel stuck even when we're actually not. Stuck in our way. I don't mean like our jobs, but our way of being. And I feel like there has to come a point in your adult life where, and I feel like this is it's almost putting words to what I feel like I've been going through the past couple of years. There's this point you hit in your adult life where you suddenly realize like, wait, the way I've been doing this since I was a kid, or the way I've been doing this for 15 years or whatever, doesn't have to be the way I continue to do it. Whether it is religion, whether it's even the way you pray. Of course, those are both like, but I mean, it could be so many different things. I just feel like we like comfort, right? We like to do the same things all the time. It's human nature, but our brains like novelty as well. And I feel like we get in this rut where we're like, well, this is just the way I've always done it, therefore. And it's like, no. For example, I do a lot of the same workouts all the time. And it's like, well, I can look up different things to do to work out and learn something new and maybe discover, like, there's so much of the world and of life that we will never ever touch, discover, learn about, explore. And a lot of it could still at least be explored by us if we were just willing to try something new, or think about it a different way, or take a different route home from work, or whatever. I want to do another topsy-turvy day. How many of you guys saw that video a while back? It was so much fun. Okay, I'm gonna use this powder. So this is the Makeup Forever HD Skin Twist and Light. So it's the one where it's like 3 different colors and it literally gets them up into there. And then I usually will like mix it up. Set my under eye for now, and then I might use it elsewhere too. But I'm feeling like my face is feeling very greasy. Let me try it with, it's just tricky to dip in. Like I like to dip my powder puff into it, and because I'm having to go all the way down there, it's, I don't know. I just don't think this is my favorite powder, like loose powder. The mechanism is unique, which I would give them kudos for, because I think that's fun and different. But in actuality, I don't love using this. So that might be one I consider passing on to someone else. Beep, bop, beep. For blush, I want to use the Physicians Formula Butter Glow Contour Wand. I've only used this a couple times, and I'm like, I'm pretty sure I liked it, but we need to know for sure. So I just kind of put some on my hand, and I think I'm just going to get some on my brush and do it that way for this first side and see how that looks. I mean, obviously the packaging is very similar to what a lot of people are doing, which is all copying, as far as I know, the Charlotte Tilbury type of packaging that's been around for quite some time. People either love it or hate it. I mean, it's definitely bronzy, but it looks good. I mean, I feel like it blended in. That looks actually, it's bronzy, but it looks good. I feel like it blended in as nicely as the Charlotte Tilbury one does. And it's a little bit warmer than the contour one from Charlotte. Well, actually, I don't know now that I'm saying that. Yeah, I think it's a little bit warmer. I feel like the contour one from Charlotte Tilbury is a little bit cooler. What were we talking about? Yeah, I think it looks good. I don't really have any complaints. I'll let you know how it wears in the wear notes below, because that's really gonna be it. It applied beautifully. I like the tone. This blush, I remember being super pigmented, so I'm gonna be careful with it. It's the Makeup Forever Artist Blush in Joyful Pink. It's kind of, for some reason I thought this was matte, but I was looking, I'm like, oh no, it's got like a little bit of a shimmer to it. It is so funny. So what I'm actually pulling some of this from is I'd asked you guys what video topics you want to see and or just video styles you're into, because I was planning for this month and I'm really excited about all the videos I've got coming up. But it is so funny because everyone has their own taste, and some of you guys are like vlogs only, like I only want to watch vlogs. And then some of you guys are like, absolutely not vlogs, I hate vlogs. I have a video coming up in my like Getting Real series where I kind of have, I just share thoughts and some research on a topic I'm interested in. And I think I know what I'm gonna be talking about. And I'm really actually very excited about it. I'm gonna start like actually writing the script out and outline. It takes me a lot of time, but it's a passion thing for me. But I laughed because one of you guys said, makeup videos or vlog, not so much those epiphany videos about thoughts. And that made me laugh out loud. I've never thought about it, but they are kind of like epiphanies I've had, like these topics that I'm like, oh, and you know, that just made me laugh. Y'all call me out. My epiphany. It also just makes me think of the song Epiphany from Sweeney Todd, right? Why am I questioning that? I'm gonna use the LA Girl lip liner it's their Ultimate Lip. This is one of the best eyeliners ever. Honestly, I grabbed this because it goes with the color I wanted to use today. I already know I love this. It is truly one of the best. It is very, very pink though. This color is Enduring Mauve. That blush is pretty though, but you just have to use such a light hand, and I've even blended in even more. I'm actually gonna kind of color the lips in a bit because this is a lot darker, I think, than the lipstick I'm gonna use. But yeah, it's super creamy, but it stays in place really well. So another thought I've had recently is I love fall, but I'm really trying to not wish summer away too soon. Like I'll be ready for it very soon, fall that is, but it's still hot here, right? And it just, I don't know, I feel like so many years go by and I don't enjoy summer. And then when winter comes, I'm like, oh, I can't wait till summer. And then a month into summer, we're celebrating fall. And I'm like, well, hold on. I do love fall. Like it is my favorite season, like many of you. But at the same time, I think we're wishing it away too fast. Like we can't control what stores are going to put out and all that. And is what it is. Like no point complaining because it's not going to change. But my point is just like, I want to try to enjoy summer. I don't want to decorate for fall yet. No shade if you do. Because again, I feel like people like what they like, and I don't think there's anything wrong. It's all so harmless, you know? But I'm trying to enjoy summer a little bit more, even though when I hear back to school, I instantly am like, okay, fine. Okay, this is this lipstick from CoverGirl. It's their Exhibitionist. Where's the name? I thought it was on here. I'm pretty sure it's their Exhibitionist lipstick. It's in the shade Darling Kiss. It's this really pretty, let me show you a swatch. It's like a really pretty pink, but it's definitely pink. So, I mean, I just wanted to try it to see, like, is it too pink for what I would generally wear? I feel like on camera, it actually looks okay. In person, it's pretty baby pink. Pretty baby pink. I'm gonna get a little bit of this powder, put it on my T-zone here. The same, that Makeup Forever powder, just lightly. So, kind of going through all of this, the things I liked the most were the spray serum was just enjoyable. Would I, well, I guess we'll see. If I use this up, would I repurchase? I don't know, but I think I would at least get something along these lines because it is enjoyable. So we'll see how much I use it. The foundation does not look bad, but like I said, it's just not my favorite. I have other ones I absolutely love. I did really like the contour wand from Physicians Formula. You already know I love this LA Girl lip liner. I will say with this CoverGirl lipstick, I have other shades I love. So I think the line, especially the cream line, is really, really good. I just think this color is pretty darn pink. I feel like it works for what I'm wearing, but for everyday for me, it's a little too baby pink for what I would typically go for. I did like this Maybelline Express Brow. I think I'm gonna move this to my vanity and like use it. Oh yeah, it really holds it in place. I hadn't really felt my brows, but yeah, it's holding them really nicely. Even trying to brush through them here, I'm like, oh, they're like, they ain't moving. So that is awesome. It does both if that's what you're into. It actually will hold it pretty well. And I also, this concealer, I think I like it better. No, I like it on the under eye too. I was gonna say, I think I like it better just as a face concealer, but honestly, I feel like I like it on the under eye. It's just definitely a little more moisturizing. So I always will feel like I have to set it and you're either into that or not. But it's really creamy, and that's why I feel like it's a really good face concealer. And then, oh yeah, the Maybelline Hyper Easy Automatic Pencil, the like 1.5 millimeter one, was really good too. So it's a solid mix. I don't think anything was terrible. I think I am gonna declutter the Makeup Forever one as much as it pains me because it's expensive. I'm gonna see if one of my sisters want it because it's only been used so much, but it's just not doing anything special. I'm always gonna reach for other ones over this, so there you go. And then, yeah, I think I'm gonna declutter the Estee Lauder one too. Is there anything else I'm like gonna actually get rid of? I don't know. I think the rest I'm good to keep, you know? Anyway, I hope that you enjoyed this video. Like I said, if you're curious how any of this wore, I'll put it in the wear notes, and I would love if you subscribed. I do videos like this. I do makeup focused videos, chatty videos, those topic videos I talked about. And then of course I also do vlogs generally every week, give or take. And I'd love to have you join by subscribing. And if you are subscribed, please sign up for notifications. All you gotta do is hit that bell and then make sure that in your actual phone settings, you are allowing notifications from YouTube to come through. That way, every time I upload a new video, you'll get a little push notification. You can watch it right away if you're into that. And I love you all so much, and I'll see you in my next one. Bye.